Squad.
Gonna be so goddamn rich.
I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Gonna be fucking rich. I want my fucking money. Griffin, I want my fucking money. Yo, motherfucker. Holy shit, we're gonna be so fucking rich. Damn it, we're gonna be so fucking rich. Griffin, I want my fucking money.
You're an original,
Hey,
aren't
yelling,
you?
cowboy. Give me the fucking money. Get the goddamn money printer out.
Great. The bounty letter.
We're gonna be so fucking rich. Get the goddamn money printer out.
Today, I would like to give you another update on Evergrande and about the global situation, economic situation, and the financial meltdown we are already in. So I'm the only one to announce in public or to comment that yesterday 2 billion international bond of Evergrande was due to be paid. The principal was due principal and interest.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, we have no evidence that this payment of 2 billion has been made yet. We have heard a story that this 2 billion has been taken by other investors 2 days before, and I think Evergrande didn't count on did wanted to pay the 2 billion for the bond with that, and they could not. So and I think they are in deep trouble now. But nobody's reporting about that. So 2 billion.
There was $2 billion in bonds due on March 23rd of Evergrande. And at the same time, like you said, you made a really good LinkedIn post. It states here that undisclosed lenders had taken over 13.4 billion RMBs, which is 2.1 billion US dollars of those deposits of Evergrande Property Services Group, a subsidiary that were pledged as security for third-party guarantees. So bondholders that were hoping to recover their losses, you said, say the move unfairly removes cash that could have been used to repay the company's bonds. Why is it that nobody else is reporting on it?
I don't know. So
could it be their own financial interest?
Yeah, looks like.
Yeah.
So, but it's a major event. There had been reported that other bondholders now looking into a lawsuit against Evergrande. So we have been doing this since November last year, as you know. We have
Yeah.
spoken about it. We face a lot of obstacles and still facing, but we managed now to make a statutory demand for our interest payment, which was due in October and which was not paid. We then have a title, enforceable title against Evergrande, and this will be accepted by the court in the Caymans. And then a winding up petition will be a home run, because then we have the full evidence that they have not paid after giving them a notice. So now Evergrande has another, let's say, 18 days to make the payment. If not, we will our winding up petition will automatically go through. So we will see. Yeah.
Fantastic. Absolutely. So, in this situation, does Evergrande have an opportunity, from what I've been reading, do they have an opportunity to contest the petition or to, pay the bond or anything along those lines to prevent
I
the.
think Evergrande has not any liquidity to pay, and we still think the directors should file voluntarily a winding up petition in the Caymans.
Yeah.
We have done a report as a criminal case to authorities in the Caymans, but we got after 3 days filing that, we got the answer that they have no reason to believe that Evergrande is insolvent.
What a joke, right? They didn't pay their bonds in September,
Okay,
November.
if they believe it, then yeah.
If they believe it, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, if they believe it, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess when is the contract members have the opportunity to see billions upon hundreds of billions of dollars wiped off their balance sheets, they give a little bit or a lot of leeway in repayments of their bonds to prevent these companies from going bankrupt. What do you think about the coincidence that a large Chinese company from Hong Kong like Evergrande is able to manipulate itself through the Cayman Islands and commit bankruptcy fraud to stay solvent when they have absolutely no cash and have defaulted on multiple bonds already? What do you think are the links there or the similarities between Evergrande's ability to default on their debt and stay solvent and London Metal Exchange and the trading of nickel that was halted and trades that were reversed first about 2 weeks ago and then again just yesterday? I'm not sure if you're aware, but just yesterday London Metals Exchange halted trading and reversed, nullified, and voided a large majority of the trades that occurred on March 23rd, 2022. Do you see some sort of foul play going on here, or could it be considered conspiratorial, allegedly, that J.P. Morgan and London Metals Exchange worked together to prevent margin calls and keep themselves from losing hundreds of billions of dollars in the same way that Evergrande is currently doing?
Yeah, it looks like a conspiracy, and the same thing I would say for Russia default. Yeah, so we all know that all Russian funds are frozen. Yeah, but the US allowed 2 payments to be made by J.P. Morgan. So this is, you can we Google it so
They did.
the same thing here. So they decide when a company goes bankrupt or not, and not the market or not the market participants, and so they can deliberately choose what they want to have, and this is
Wow.
this is
This is
so.
the same
Yeah, this
issues
is
we had back in
the
2008.
same, yeah, the same. And unfortunately, for AMC and GME, Um, Unfortunately, it could be the same. Yeah. So
You just never
so, but
know. You just never
we
really know
never
what's
know.
going to happen. Thankfully,
Yeah.
London Metals Exchange is open is owned by Chinese firm in Hong Kong, whereas the Nasdaq is based here out of the United States.
London Metal Exchange is owned by the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
We all know what's
and
going on there with Evergrande and all their other companies. So I'm not surprised, to see what happened with nickel multiple times now, and people still trading on London Metals Exchange should be very weary, as those trading on brokerage that restricted the buy button for AMC and GameStop back in January of 2021.
so, but as you've seen with the nickel squeeze out, the AMC and GME squeeze out could come every day. So everything
Yeah.
is ready. Yeah, everything is ready, and a small coincidence could trigger the MOASS. So
You
so
said
don't
it.
give up.
You
Don't give
said it.
up. We is all ready, but by coincidence it will happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The reason being, I'm not sure if you're aware, but I've pulled up executive orders from both President Trump and President Biden, and they coincide perfectly with the run up of AMC and GameStop. When they were implemented, Trump initiated an executive order that caused Chinese Communist Party military company Collateral on the American stock market to become completely useless. So, a list of about 25 companies related to the CCP here in the United States became completely useless collateral to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars. And there was a lot of exposure there to BlackRock and Vanguard, as tens of billions of dollars worth, and they each had of exposure directly to the Chinese market and to the CCP collateral. Therefore, in January 27th, we saw a massive run up of AMC and GameStop, and on the 28th, we saw GameStop go all the way up to $480 and change, up from just a few bucks or a few days prior. So, also, that after going position close only, a lot of brokers that did that were basically working hand in hand with market makers. After a short while, after a few days, Biden extended the executive order through May 27th. And if you're unfamiliar, on May 27th, 2021, AMC and GameStop started running again. And on June 2nd, AMC hit its all-time high of $72, up from $8 just a couple weeks prior. So again, I'd like to let you know and advise everybody that's watching this that collateral is extremely important, whether it be Chinese Communist Party military companies, real estate developers, Russian banks, or other asset collaterals based here in the United States. When we're seeing hundreds of billions of dollars of losses on Russian collateral, Chinese collateral, real estate developer collateral, what do you possibly see happening for the future, sir?
Yes, I think Russia will default. This will have shockwaves into the markets. Right now, it was avoided two times because JP Morgan and the US government allowed the bond payments. But I think the default will happen. And of course, this will have, or this will drive further the financial meltdown of the markets. And also the China problem will get worse,
Yeah.
and also the Chinese private sector could completely default, and
You know that this collateral that I was telling you about, the executive order that Biden extended on June 3rd, the day that AMC and GameStop started coming down because the collateral became effective again, it was extended through June 3rd of 2022, which is just a few months away at this point. I think everything seems to be lining up. This executive order, which makes this Chinese collateral completely worthless again. And on February 25th, I believe it was, the United States Treasury added 35 more companies to this list. So as of now, there's about over 35. So there's over 60 Chinese Communist Party companies that as of June 3rd, 2022, will become completely worthless collateral. This is the same companies that back in January and June of 2021 caused the run-ups because of their value becoming completely worthless on the United States markets, and then being reinstated, re-implemented through an extension of that executive order. That being said, when we see executive orders starting to sanction Russia, starting to sanction China, and take away collateral from market makers and banks globally, and other companies like JP Morgan and Citi allowing Russia to make payments on bonds because they absolutely need the money, how bad is their desperation for liquidity right now, do you think? What is the liquidity situation like in the markets, in the global markets for these banks and market makers, do you think?
I think it's still tough, but the Fed is still printing money and money and money. And
Yeah.
I think they will not stop printing it. And that's also the reason why the market has not crashed yet completely. But the faith in the dollar also is not there anymore. If for example, if Saudi Arabia now get paid in Chinese money and
Yeah. In
uh,
Chinese RMB or yen, are they talking about possibly trading in?
yeah,
Yuan.
this is the start of the end of the dollar, and then it they can print money, create inflation, and so yeah, the crash might be not happen because of that, yeah, but it will create a hyperinflation, which is even worse, yeah.
Yeah.
So for yeah, the
Currently,
pensionists,
sorry, go ahead.
the normal workers, it will be a nightmare, and it will affect millions of Americans and also Europeans,
Globally, yeah.
and so it could cause also social unrest and business with great danger here. Yeah.
Speaking of hyperinflation, right now, energy prices are out of control globally, and I realized that just a couple days ago that the Germany's PPI, the producer price index, was up almost 30%. I think like 29.5% year over year. I think that's a good
This is because
indication.
of soaring gas prices, and so Europe and especially Germany is so dependent on the Russian gas that if this will be cut because of sanctions or because of the Russian default or because of payment issues regarding the Russian ruble being now mandatory for the payments. So I think we will see some more things happening soon, yeah? And some
Yeah.
surprises, and the impact on the financial markets are unpredictable, and be prepared for these surprises. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we definitely have to be prepared for surprises.
Yeah, but
A lot of people were really shocked when their certain stocks that they owned in Russian stocks or Russian related stocks were wiped off the market. I think I held a couple of cheap Vion calls, which are no longer valid on the United States market because of sanctions. So it's definitely something that's going to affect people globally, including the institutions. What do you think about? Do you mind touching on the Federal Reserve and the fact that Jerome Powell only announced a quarter basis point increase with a possible half basis point increase in May? Would you mind touching on that at all?
yes, they might continue, but they also promised to stop the
Yeah.
buying of bonds, but this will never happen. So because of the war,
Gotcha.
it's a promise which is always postponed and will never be affordable. So I don't think that they can fulfill that. Of course, they raise a little bit the interest rates. It already has impact, but I think they cannot afford it, and you also cannot create that crash to show weakness in times of war.
Right.
So they will accept the hyperinflation with all the consequences. Yeah. So
And who pays for it? Who pays for the
yeah.
hyperinflation?
Yeah. So regular people, the whole 95% of the Americans or Europeans
People
will pay for it. Yeah.
globally. Yeah.
But
The 95%, not the top percent, right?
but, but you can foresee that and invest into tangible assets like silver, gold,
Yeah.
buy a house or a car or even food. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Food is very tangible, as is, fuel if it does not spoil, and many other things. Real estate, gold, silver, other assets like this that could be used. What could you tell me about not to change the subject here, but I'm very interested in the Evergrande situation. What if Evergrande does respond within the 21 days for against the official statutory demand that's been made against them? Because I mean, we all know that they've missed their bond payments. So, what could they possibly say?
They could pay us. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that means they would have to have cash to do that, wouldn't they?
Yeah. I think this amount of cash they would have, they could pay us. Yeah. But then they make a case for others to claim it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
they could not just pay us, then they have to pay others as well.
Right. If they
And
paid
then
your bond, then
we
everyone could come up and file one of these petitions, and they'd have to pay all of them and end up bankrupt anyway, wouldn't they?
yeah. So it's just delaying the process. Yeah, but they could pay us. Yeah.
Just kicking the can down the road a little bit farther. Well, that's great. I appreciate you, Dr. Metzler. Thank you so much for mentioning that. Now, would you mind if I ask you a little bit about the situation with the rest of the real estate developers? A lot of people are unaware as to what's going on with like Sunak and Country Garden. Are they looking any better? Is there any
No,
possibility for the?
they all go bankrupt. It's not the whole industry and the whole private sector in China. So they are all will be in default, and this will also be a burden between the relationships of the U.S. and China. And so we will see what's happening there. I posted something that there are reports that Taiwan there are plans to take over Taiwan like Russia did in the Ukraine. And so we will see what will happen. And yeah, this is.
I've read the alleged reports about China possibly invading Taiwan in the fall. Supposedly, it was leaked by Russian intelligence or stolen from Russian intelligence. What do you think the possibility or the plausibility that the Russians would allow such information to be leaked? Do you think that could be actually have happened, or do you think it's more, on the NATO or American side where it's misinformation or propaganda? Any idea?
I don't know. I think there could be something true in it, because the West was so weak opposing on the Ukraine invasion, and so I think it was an invitation for Russia to take it. Yeah.
Yeah.
How they reacted, and so. Kind of a similar situation right now with Taiwan, according.
Kind of the way that that Biden pulled everybody out of Afghanistan, left them to fend it for themselves during a period of hyperinflation here in the States.
And also the foreign countries, China and Russia are noticing that the weak side of the US is a lot of inflation, so they know that
it's costing us buku bucks. It's costing us big bucks. You're right. And the Russian stock market reopened today. I'm sorry, it was, I believe,
Russia
yesterday.
made something right. They took they sold dollars and bought physical gold. Yeah, and
Yeah, a lot of
they
physical
made it
gold.
right. Yeah.
Russia
So
has been unwinding U.S. dollars and U.S. dollar treasuries since 2013, I believe, and at this point is stacked pretty heavily on gold assets. Well, I appreciate you, Dr. Metzler. Thank you so much for all of your insight. It's been fantastic speaking with you and hearing your input on the situation. Do you think, one last thing I'd like to ask you, do you think we're going to be rich or do you think we're going to be so fucking rich?
so I think you could be rich, but then take the opportunity and reinvest the gains into tangible assets, and then you will be really rich.
There you go. Thank you very much. That's what I like to hear. And this is not financial advice. Neither Dr. Metzler nor I are financial advisors or have a crystal ball and can see into the future. What we can read, we can read the writing on the wall. And it's been pretty clear since 2021, where we've all been shouting from the rooftops about Evergrande not paying their bond notes and inflation being out of control and the Federal Reserve printing entirely too much money to be sustainable. But it seems at this point that the Federal Reserve is pushing for hyperinflation purposely. Do you think that that could be the case before I let you go?
Yes, I confirm the thesis purposely. They do it purposely.
Yeah. It, real quick, why do you think that might be? And short, simple answer. You don't have to get into too much depth. But why do you think the Fed is allowing hyperinflation to occur?
This is the only exit for them to go out of this situation. They have created years ago, so it developed. They kicked the can down the road, cannot stop anymore, and so they have to go for it to go out. Yeah, and the war could be a good excuse now for higher gas prices, but it was before also started before. So, but most people believe that the war is now the reason for the hyperinflation, and yeah, why not?
Yeah, just
But
point the finger,
but
right?
unfortunately, sorry, it's but it has a lot of consequences for most of the people. And we are talking about that, so everybody can prepare for such a situation. Yeah, so we warned before, we warned a lot of times. Get prepared and make the best out of it. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Metzler. Yeah, we've all got to be prepared and use the situation to our advantage in whatever way possible. So I appreciate you for all of your insights, your education, and for all of your efforts on taking down this bankrupt, fraud, insolvent zombie company by the name of Evergrande. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope to hear from you soon regarding the petition or an update. Thanks again, Dr. Metzler.
We'll follow up. Thank you. Bye bye.